Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor, and welcome back to the Noiseberry Games channel. I know it's not my own, it's a little weird. Today, John has graciously invited me, by the way, John is here.
Hi.
John has graciously invited me to cover my top 5 games of the year. Now, my list is a little weird because it is a tentative one. There are a few games, and John's gonna hate me for this, that came out on the Xbox Game Pass. You know, the thing that he loves. He doesn't stop talking about it every time we record. He's just bringing up Game Pass. I can't get him to stop.
They call me a shill for it, yeah.
Yeah, people do call him a shill. I am not one of those people.
No. Shill.
So there are 2 games that I just installed on Game Pass because I just picked it up again. That came out, I think, just a couple days ago as the time of recording. Gungrave and High on Life. So I have not had a chance to really dig into those yet, but they are, still 2022 releases. So again, this list is tentative, clearly identifying, hey, haven't tried these games out that came out this year. So on my channel, the Tease Table YouTube channel, in January I will come out with a definitive list after having played the games that I wanted to coming out from this year. Trying to include the December ones because those are always really hard to squeeze in there, and hopefully I can have a more concrete idea of where I stand on a lot of games.
Okay, so this is a list at the time of recording, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is just because I make us record a little bit early, pretty much.
Which is totally fine. Granted,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd have these done by Christmas anyway.
That's fair, yeah. Okay, cool.
This one, again, is a hard year for me. I actually didn't play that many games that came out this year.
Ooh, quick question.
Yes.
Do you have honorable mentions?
I don't know. I
Okay.
might. Because, there are games that I played this year that I'm just like, I've only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've only played 7, 8 games this year, not including the 2 aforementioned ones.
Okay.
And, most of them I don't even think deserve to be on this list.
Oh no.
They're not good.
Oh, you were the one person I could count on for having
You know what?
curated
There's not
a
going to
list.
be any honorable mentions. There will be honorable dishonorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
That'll be coming after my number 2.
Okay. So is this why your list is a bit questionable? You didn't really
Yeah.
have enough top tier games to go on here?
Yeah, and so far I've only tried a little bit of Gungrave Gore. That is how it's titled, Gungrave, and then just Gore.
Okay.
So again, I want to see how I feel about those before I'm like, okay, this deserves a spot, this deserves a spot, maybe this one doesn't.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna start off number 5 with Loopmancer. So this
Oh, right.
roguelikes are weird for me. I kind of come into them and then kind of fall out of them. It's a little weird. But this one I was like, okay, it was, cyberpunk, Chinese culture. I don't know. I think it's meant to be based in China. I know that, but it's a fictional city, all this other jazz. It's a side-scroller action roguelite. Except the thing is, it's got branching story paths. So I just finished up chapter 1, and then it's you could go down route A or B, which would in theory change the story. And I don't know, I haven't played past that. If I were to die after choosing route A, if that puts me back at the start of chapter 2, or if it puts me all the way into chapter 1, have to go through chapter 1 again, and then choose my path again. So I'm curious to see when I do get back around to playing it, if those story choices remain, and if the branching path actually has noticeable differences in it.
Okay.
But I think a roguelite with a branching path narrative was a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
Not one that I had seen before.
Okay. And this one, just kind of scraped in at number 5? Is that?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. It's a good game. It's relatively cheap. I think it's $25.
Okay.
And you could easily get at least 25 hours out of it. And I don't know, it was fun. Combat was a little floaty. The voice
Yeah.
acting was just the English voice acting,
Laughable.
which it was so bad.
So bad.
But I'm hoping it was a small team. If that was a big team, that's just inexcusable.
I think it was quite a small team, yeah.
So I mean, for a super small indie game, I think it was a pretty decent pickup.
That's fair, yeah.
Okay, number 4. Again, I'm having a little bit of trouble just figuring out where I want to put stuff.
Oh, you haven't really locked down the order?
I mean, I sort of have, sort of haven't.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Model Builder. So this was one of those simulation games that, again, super small indie title, but it's really cool because you get a whole bunch of little model kits, and like, I'm not about to go out and spend. I don't want to think about how many hundreds of dollars on these little model kits for like Warhammer and stuff like that. But you put them together without having hands, just because it's one of those things where everything is just floating there. And then you can paint it whatever you like. You can decorate it how you want, and then you unlock more complex things. So I think the big like first main task you get is your grandfather had a special effects studio kind of a thing, and he also built models and stuff. So he left you a dragon statue that you're supposed to put together. And it was just, I don't know, it was really cool putting together, like there's hundreds of pieces. And you put them together in sections. You have an instruction booklet the whole time, but it was very soothing. It's my, I think, podcast game for this year.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking it gives me like Power Wash Simulator vibes, because that was on your list last year.
And so, side note, Power Wash Simulator has come out with its 1.0 this year.
Oh, okay.
It is not on my list just because I did mention it last year, but yeah, it is now official full release.
I see, okay.
But yeah, just, I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, this does look like a very, very nice, soothing, unwind, listen to something else kind of game.
Yeah, and like you can paint things whatever color you want. Like it's very Warhammer, 40K kind of experience without having to build and paint all of those models like with the tiny little brushes. I'm not good with really tiny fine details in terms of hand-eye coordination, so this for me was fantastic.
Yeah, and you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on Gundams or anything.
No,
you can just
or
do
like
it in
model
this game.
ships or what have you. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like an action figure. It could just be the more traditional things that people build, and then you display them in your little trophy case, or you build them for someone else because it's part of a job. As the simulator genre goes.
Oh, okay, so a bit like PC Building Simulator, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, except this one's a little more, I want to say it's a little more complex, especially because I've never seen like late game gameplay of PC Simulator, but you have an instruction manual, you have to like cut out the little pieces, and I'm reminded of when I was a kid doing this. I never built Gundams or anything. I had, I think the most complex I think I built was I might have had like the small like junior chibi Gundam things, I can't remember what those were called. Or I also had Beat 'em On.
Oh, okay.
The marble shooters.
Right.
So those were similar.
So it's a little bit of a throwback for you.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard of this game until just now, actually.
I saw it, YouTuber that I watch, Miniature Nerd, play it, and I was like, you know what? I could use that this year.
It looks pretty cool, actually. Yeah, totally missed it, but that's cool.
It is a super cute little thing. Like I said, it's not too expensive. They do have some DLC packs, which, hey, however you feel about DLC, like, it's just extra models. Like, there's nothing significant about it.
Yeah, it looks
But,
like there's, like, licensed stuff, like The Witcher and stuff.
Yeah, so, like, that makes sense. If they had to pay for the license, maybe pay a little extra, you get, your favorite fandom.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Still very undecided.
I don't want to put this on here, but I kind of do.
Okay, this is gonna be weird.
So, I'm conflicted about this one, but I think I had fun with it for all of its flaws.
You think?
I had fun with it at the time. Looking back, I'm like, yeah, okay, it was good. It wasn't great.
Okay, Soul Hackers 2?
No, it's a number 3 actually.
Okay.
It's Shadow Warrior 3.
Okay.
So this was by Flying Wild Hog, the same guys who just released Evil West, which I also want to try out. But the Shadow Warrior franchise kind of does something similar to the Darksiders franchise, where each game kind of played a little differently. Well, Darksiders was a big difference between the games, but Shadow Warrior, like, you had your kind of, it was meant to originally be like a Duke Nukem Doom ripoff, like the original Duke Nukem and Doom, just with an Asian character and like using a katana and stuff.
Okay.
So I played the original I played Shadow Warrior Redux, which was like a remaster kind of reimagining of the original. Then I played Shadow Warrior 2, which was giving you like RPG mechanics with different weapon types and different stuff. Then it brings you back to Shadow Warrior 3, which kind of very much feels like what Shadow Warrior 1 kind of may have gone into. It's much closer to the mechanics of Shadow Warrior 1, but I hate saying this because I can't tell if this is true or not. It feels lazy and it feels understaffed. It's super short, very easy collectibles, like very uninteresting skills. Is just like, hey, get more damage booster, add an elemental damage to your gun. Very limited enemy types, and a lot of the enemies are meant to be not just like your standard mob, but more of like a gimmick enemy that you can do a special gore kill on, but kind of like a glory kill in Doom, and you get a limited time special weapon from them that you use for like 30 seconds and it's done. But they swarm you with all of these special enemies without giving you a whole lot of like the kind of regular grunts. It's not well designed. And I'm wondering, given that Evil West, I think, was supposed to be like their big release for the year, and Shadow Warrior 3 kind of just like farted out there in February, if they put most of their team on Evil West and then had kind of a much smaller team trying to finish up Shadow Warrior 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know why they needed both to come out this year.
I don't know either. I'm wondering if it's like a licensing agreement or like with the publisher. But like it's a game. It's a full game, and it was a controversial one. And I'm like, do I want to put this on? Do I not? And I kind of said, eh.
That's fair.
It's one of the ones that might be replaced by either Gungrave Gore or High on Life. Like I said, I'm gonna try them out. I've heard mediocre to mixed reviews about High on Life, but it's by the guys who made Rick and Morty, and so maybe there's good humor in it. Maybe not. I don't know.
That might be questionable.
They're both on Game Pass, so they're not free. But if I can get 10 hours out of each of them, that covers the $12 a month I would pay.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway,
fun fact: I got Shadow Warrior 3 for $4 a few weeks ago.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. That's the thing.
I haven't played it yet, but I have it now.
And I kind of put it above, Model Builder and Loop Master because I haven't finished those two. Like, they were fun to play, and then just kind of put down for a while for very different reasons. Like Model Builder, I just got to be in the mood to like chill and just vibe. Loop Master, roguelikes and me have a really love-hate relationship. I'll go to them for a bit and then I'll just leave them for a while. I have a whole bunch that I've like partially started and never finished. So at some point, I swear to God, in this in this video, I will go back and finish roguelikes at some point.
Good.
Just don't know when. And number 2 is a real surprise one. Also a December release and a first-person horror game. So John might hate it.
Ooh.
Choo Choo Charles.
That's your number 2?
That's my number 2.
Oh my goodness. Okay, tell me about it.
Okay, so have you seen the ads for Choo Choo Charles, John?
No, I've just seen the store page. I can't really get a feel for it.
So basically, first of all, it's a game made by one guy. So props to this guy. Props to the designer. The story opens up with you getting a call from this guy, Eugene, who's like, "Hey, I've heard you've been looking for a new exhibit for your museum," which is like, okay, this is weird. We'll go to the island and we'll hunt this monster. And it's like, hang on, why am I putting a monster in my quote museum? Anyway, you get there, you find a single train car. So it's like just the front of a train. It doesn't have any other cars. There's nothing attached to it. It's just the front of like a model train, an old timey model train. It's full size, mind you. And then there's a machine gun on the back. And Eugene's like, oh, this wasn't here, when I left X number of years ago. The owner must have put it on there. The owner's now dead. Died to Charles.
Oh.
So then you take this train out. You don't even open anything. You just bust through this shed that it's in. And then you're driving along, and then Charles attacks you. So you're shooting him with your machine gun at the back. Eugene falls out and he dies. That's script. That's meant to happen. And then Charles runs away. So now you're left in this open world, quote unquote, where your train can only travel along the train tracks, except they're all over the island. You can get out and run wherever you want. And there are a number of optional NPCs, a small number of required NPCs, and then some weapon NPCs, all with super small quests to do to either get scrap so you can upgrade your train's speed, repair it, upgrade its damage, or upgrade its armor. Or they might, as I said, give you a new weapon. The weapons you can choose from are flamethrower, kind of like an anti-aircraft flat cannon thing that's meant to just be like a long range kind of, yeah, more like a flat cannon than artillery, and then a rocket launcher. And then you just swap between these weapons on the fly.
To fight the evil spider train?
Sorry, it is half Giga Spider, half train.
Okay.
As Eugene describes himself.
Okay.
So your whole main mission is to go to 3 mines, which are all staffed by these crazy cultists who all have shotguns. So you can't fight when you're not on your train. You don't have any weapons.
Okay.
So you have to like stealth into these mines to grab these 3 eggs, which you'll then put into this temple, which is meant to destroy them, but it'll also anger Charles because Charles has shown intelligence. He doesn't go over this one rickety wooden bridge because he knows that that's a super big fall because it's the tallest bridge in the whole island, but it's also the oldest and therefore the weakest. He never goes over because he knows it's dangerous.
Okay.
So the whole point is one of your missions to set explosives on the supports for that bridge and then piss off Charles enough that he'll follow you onto it and fight you.
Okay.
And so going, helping out these NPCs, one of which is just like some make sense. It's like, okay, I want you to go help me get this thing, like get some documents so I can leave the island. But then there's some that are super whacked out, like the pickle lady who wants you to go get her last jar of pickles because she locked it up and doesn't have a key. She lost her key for it.
Understandable.
Right? And then you have other ones that are just references to stuff. So like there's a side mission that's just Slender. You have to go into this one secluded area. You have to find 8 pages. Well, this other monster thing is just chasing you in that one area.
Oh man.
And then there's like a one where this witch wants you to go across this swamp to grab a fish for her and bring it back.
Okay.
But there's a monster under the water, so you have to stop moving when the monster gets close. And it's just, I don't know, it's a fun, wacky little game. It is $25, just full disclosure, I beat it, got all achievements, because like the achievements are just do the NPC side missions and fully upgrade your train. That's it.
Right.
And beat the game.
And it
so
looks
I did
like
beat it in like 3 hours.
Yeah, completion's like 3 to 4 hours.
But there are 11 paint cans you can find, so you can make your train whatever color you want. I think my current one is purple. But no, it's just like, it's a super, just small, easy, fun game. And the weirdest thing is, every NPC in this game, outside of like the player character, is voiced, fully voiced, but none of their mouths move.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it zooms in on the character's face, they're talking, fully voice acted, everything like that, their mouth isn't moving.
Okay, just like Dark Souls.
Just like Dark Souls.
It truly is the Dark Souls of train games.
Yeah. There's no roll mechanic.
Damn it.
But, as you collect each egg, Charles appears more and more. So like sometimes when you hear him make his train, when you hear his train whistle, he's looking for you. So sometimes if he finds you, naturally he'll chase after you and try to kill you. If he doesn't find you, he'll just like run away.
Okay.
But like he attacks you more and more frequently the more eggs you find.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just honestly a fun little romp around this little island.
Interesting.
I didn't expect, like, I had seen stuff about it. And I knew it was in early access for a little while. I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood for something stupid. Let's do it. And I had more fun with it than I expected to.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that one kind of came out of nowhere for me, but I heard a little bit about it, but not much.
Yeah. And then, okay, I was thinking, oh, crap, what did I do? No. Wait, was that my number 3 or my number 2?
That was your number 2. Have you left off something quite important?
I did. Oh, okay. No.
Well, it has to go in honorable mentions now.
Well, no, we're gonna bump Charles down to number 3, and we're gonna put Shadow Warrior 3 in dishonorable mentions.
Okay.
Because I can't believe I did that.
So this is your true number 2.
This is my true number 2, because I was like, that's why I didn't want to put Shadow Warrior in this. Like, I know it should be on here, but I couldn't remember what I was missing.
You talked all that about Shadow Warrior 3 and it's not even on your list.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm fuming. Okay.
Hi, fuming. I'm dad.
Shut up.
Okay, my actual number 2.
Okay.
Again, on Game Pass, and again, an indie game, which you probably won't be able to figure out, is Midnight Fight Express.
Midnight Fight Express.
So, okay, I don't even remember where I saw this game. I think I saw it just like on Game Pass, and I tried it out just for the shit of it, which is becoming a theme this year.
Yeah.
You play as a guy just sitting in your apartment. It's so it's an isometric kind of view. You play a guy just sitting in his underwear watching TV. Then you get a delivery at your door, and it's a drone. And this drone is like, "Hey, you need to go right now." Your character's name is Babyface. You get called that a lot. There are a number of references to like 80s action movies throughout this game, some of which I got, some of which I didn't. Like people calling out the Warriors to come out and play. That was a classic.
Don't know what that means.
Have you ever seen Warriors?
No.
What? Anyway, there's a whole bunch of references. Some I did get, some I didn't. And then this drone, which, funny enough, I swear to God, you named yourself. Like, I was like, why is John in this game?
Is it Droney?
Guess what it is Droney.
Droney!
I was like, why is it named Droney?
That's exactly what I would name a drone.
So, yeah, you and this drone go throughout the city hunting down gangs and stuff because you're trying to stop the evil villain. Now, the whole story is being told, quote-unquote, by your character because he's being interrogated by police. And then you basically go throughout the city fighting all these gangs, all these criminals, everyone working for this big bad like mafia boss who controls the entire city. It's all it's primarily hand-to-hand combat. Guns are very rare. When you do get one, it's very limited ammo, but they do a lot of damage. And then between each stage, you can upgrade your skills, which is each tree. Every level has two skills you can choose from, and it's not like they're not exclusive. You can't just pick one or the other. You swap between whichever one you want between missions.
Okay.
It's like if you wanted skill A, you can have that for like the first mission, and then you can go back, or you can go between missions and just use skill B next time. It just kind of differs up what certain actions do between your grapples, light attacks, heavy attacks. At one point you get a skill that lets you carry a revolver with you, so you get 6 shots, although you only get 1 shot at first and you have to upgrade the skill to get more. Like you can add a stun effect to the revolver or just a few other small things.
Okay.
And it's just, I don't know, it's really well designed combat, a lot of fun. You can dodge roll in that one, and like the finishers are just brutal. Like you can grab a kitchen knife and just stab a dude like 14 times in the chest, and then just like kick his corpse away.
That's very violent.
And you pick up a whole bunch of just like throwaway melee weapons, like a beer bottle, throw it in some guy's head, you distract him for a minute, you run up and you knee him in the face. Like it's extremely violent, but it's super fun, super reminiscent of like 80s action street brawlers. And it's I don't know, like the game was such a sleeper hit for me, because like I played it a bit and I was like, okay, it's decent. And then the story started getting a little more interesting. Okay. Then they started making like Saints Row references, Warrior references. I'm like, wait, what? And then just like the combat continues to escalate.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one either. That you've had
and
some.
It's like it's one of those things,
ones.
right? You spend a night in a hotel, and then suddenly all of the housekeeping staff are actually trained assassins trying to kill you.
Oh yeah.
Like the classic twist. But yeah, it's like you're fighting all these different groups who all have relatively similar mechanics and relatively similar enemy types, but it's a lot of fun to play.
It does look pretty good from the screenshots.
Yeah. So when you see the gameplay, you'll see what I mean. Like it, and you can customize your character too with different outfits, masks, hair colors, tattoos. You can have them walking around in just their underwear, beating the shit out of everybody.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some like your gameplay footage for some of these games.
And okay, so now on to dishonorable mentions. Obviously, I've already mentioned Shadow Warrior 3, which I'm kicking myself for including it on this list. It did not deserve to be on this list whatsoever.
Maybe I'll like cut that entry down a bit because it's not like a true entry.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the other thing that deserves to be on the dishonorable mentions list is Trek to Yomi.
Okay.
So it looks super cool. It looks like a Kurosawa film. You're like, okay, this is gonna be great. It's all black and white. It's all side scroll. It's all just really aesthetic. But then you play it and you're like, this plays like a wet noodle. You don't have good hit feedback. You don't have good movement. Like it doesn't feel good to play.
I think I also got that one for like $3.
And I think that's what a lot of people have been saying. Like when it first came out, like it looks so good. and then it just doesn't feel good.
It does look, like, visually very,
It
very
looks
striking.
Stunning. It
yeah.
looks absolutely stunning. And then you play it and you're like, oh god, oh no, oh no. It's like being sold a Maserati with the engine of a 2002 Honda Civic.
I see.
It looks so good.
Looks nice.
It don't feel so good.
That's fair.
I don't know. I think I don't know who the team was. I should have looked it up, but like they should have worked on either making a movie or making a game. You can do both. They failed at both.
It was developed by Flying Wild Hogs as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. They really stretched themselves this year. I think that's what the problem is.
Must be, yeah.
Like there is no way they released 3 games in the same year. I'm sure it wasn't the exact same team, but you can't be working on 3 games in the same year and expect really decent quality out of them.
Yeah, interesting.
I think that's partly what attracted me to it in the first place too. It was Flying Wild Hog. I was like, okay, I like the first 2 Shadow Warriors, and just 2 out of the 3 releases they've had this year that I played, I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Both of them are on my Dishonourable Mentions list.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really hope Evil West doesn't get on there too.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that one's like, actually.
It looks really good. It's one of those things that looks really good, but then it's just like
Trek to Yomi.
is it gonna feel good?
Yeah.
Just really, really disappointed by in general Flying Wild Hog this year.
Yeah, apparently. Bit of a theme on this list.
Yeah. And my number 1, John, take a wild guess.
Is it Elden Ring?
It's Pokemon Radical Red. I'm kidding, it's Elden Ring.
Hooray! Elden Ring.
I don't think I can ever now shout out Pokemon just because it's and I quote, by the developer, it will never be full release. It'll always keep getting updates and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's never going to be its proper 1.0, like it's fully released, it's done.
Right.
Anyway, yes, it's Elden Ring for all of the aforementioned reasons that John already stated. I don't need to go over them.
Yeah. I mean, it is just an incredible game, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think I love it as much as you do.
No,
but
I'm sure.
I don't know, it just the Souls-like genre has always held a special place in my heart ever since meeting you and Chris. I've talked about this on the podcast. I won't keep reiterating it, but like it just continues to cement and solidify our friendship.
Yeah, it is nice that, you know, even though we're all busy and all have our own lives, we can still get together like almost every week and play Elden Ring for a couple of hours.
Yeah, shit, I'm gonna be halfway around the world, hopefully in a few months now, and
we'll still be playing Elden Ring.
Yeah. And we'll play. We might even try out Armored Core if there's multiplayer. Who knows?
Who knows?
John to do it.
Ugh, maybe.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, there will be a properly solidified list in January on my channel that I will not ramble on about Shadow Warrior 3 or any game that does not actually deserve to be on my list. This game has been Jesus Christ, this video has just been a mess for me. So I promise I will be more composed in the next one when I can figure out my thoughts and apparently, figure out my own list.
Yeah, next year I might force you to actually number them.
I normally do. It's just I was like in a panic, and then I hadn't, and I had just had a list of all the games I played. I was like, wait, where did I put stuff? And then I just normally I do number it, and I just completely forgot.
Okay, that's fair.
You know me. I'm normally not this out of it.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, we will. I guess we'll see you guys in the new year.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget to let us know in the comments down below what your games of the year were.
Oh,
or
yeah.
if you've tried out any of the games we've mentioned.
Yeah, thank you. I always forget about that bit. Yeah, give us your list.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.